up, YouTube? It is Saturday, June 30th, going into July 4th pre-weekend. So it's time to get your fertilizers and get that final mow in before the 4th of July. I put in some Prosedge and the quinclorac, as you see back in about, I believe it was 2 videos ago. So I've got some effects of that taken in. So the Prosedge is starting to die off. The quinclorac is slowly starting to take its effect on the crabgrass. So we're going to take a look at that. Let's go take a look in the yard. Alright, this is a section by my deck. I got steps going up. Ignore all the weeds. I need to go through there and rake that all out, kill that out. But I sprayed this area with the Prosedge. This is exactly 1 week in. Got some browning. This is actually getting kind of dried out here. Very brown. Look at that. Right there at the root. Going in, this is getting really brown. Some of the other grass through here is getting a yellowish brown to it, and all around the toward the root, going into the ground, it is getting very brown. So it is doing a very good job killing off the nutsedge. We got a few other spots out here in the yard. This spot here. So that's getting a yellowish brown to it, so that's dying off. A few other spots through here. There you go. So it's definitely doing a very good job killing off all this nutsedge. There are some other spots through here. I do not remember where it was at. I guess it's kind of spread out. It's starting to brown out on me now, and I'm getting some heat stress, so it's kind of blending in on me. Yeah, so that's looking pretty good. Let's go take a look at the front yard at the crabgrass. Alright, so this is one of the bigger areas where I have the crabgrass. I'm actually not seeing much of effect here. There's a couple spots here that did brown out and die, but that's no good. I think I may have to be hitting this up with another dose. Take a look over here on this side. Yeah, it's a weekend. This should be should actually be turning white and then brown, and I've got a lot of nothing. Well, that's through here all along my driveway. Big section up through here. I'm gonna have to give this another dose and take a look, see how many tills are in. Looks like still maybe, looks like still the second till stage. So still early enough. I should be able to use quinclorac again on it, kill it off. So we'll get another shot. I've got to mow today though before we leave on vacation. It's getting a little tall. So that would put me at putting more quinclorac down possibly Monday. This is here's after I've mowed the grass with the new lawn striper, the Big League Lawns Checkmate. This was done when did I mow? Monday? Yeah, so about 5 days ago, 6 days ago. Still got some decent heavy stripes through there. Right over here we got some decent stripes. One thing I am noticing is there's a few spots every year when we get into the summer months that I tend to fight with the heat stress. So this very thin blades. I'm thinking this isn't exactly a fescue that I have in the rest of the yard. I think it might actually be the way these blades are. I'm thinking this is like maybe a perennial rye. I've never really tried identifying this stuff. That's just coming right out. Look at that. That's all bad. Trying to pull this out is not really getting much I can really identify. But there's a few spots like that. It's like very thin blades. And kind of coarse, like a horsehair almost. This we get spot usually right around here gets pretty brown as well. You can see it is a little bit. We did have a good amount of rain on Tuesday and Wednesday, so that kind of greened it back up a little bit, but that right there is really bad. There's a couple other spots here and there, and this all seems to be these thinner leaf blades versus the regular fescue. Bust out some more watering on it, hoping it was going to rain a little bit more. We had a good almost week's worth of rain that a lot of other people were getting. Perked it up quite a bit, but it looks like there's still a little bit that needs to be done. And as I walk through to go toward the front yard, I did notice this, so I have still quite a bit of nutsedge through here that either I had missed or I didn't spray enough. Sticking out like a sore thumb, big clump of it through here. Yeah, so I may have to get some more, because otherwise that's going to come back just as bad, if not worse, next year. So let's get some mowing. It's about 92, 93 degrees out. So gotta keep cool. So this is one of the Mission 12-in-1 head towels or linen towels, something, I don't know what they call it, but it's about 16 bucks on Amazon. Where they're saying about 12 different ways. Usually during the early spring I'll use it as a kind of like a dust mask because I have really bad allergies. But then you can do it as like head wraps and pull it over the head. And then you can do my personal favorite. You can be the lawn ninja. Now the weeds can never see you coming. Alright, lawn ninja's back. Just got finished mowing the backyard. Got some decent stripes going on. I mowed this way this time. Before that I did go this way. You can kind of see the stripes a little bit. It's been almost a week, so those lines are starting to go away a little bit on me. But it looks pretty good. So like you see the backyard, I'm definitely going into some heat stress. So I'm kind of on the fence. I've thought about watering back here, but at the same time, a neighbor was debating with me a couple weeks ago. Get out the sun here. Was debating with me about mowing shorter and letting the mulch clippings or the grass clippings sit on the grass and kind of shade the soil versus letting the grass grow at 4.5 inches. So went back and forth. His argument was if you cut it short, then you can use all the grass clippings. It kind of covered the soil, and then it was going to provide that extra protection against soil to try to keep it a little bit cooler. So my argument, as long as with pretty much everyone else out there, was if you have it mowing tall, you get a couple things. one, the grass is going to be taller, so it's going to provide a canopy over that soil, so it's going to provide that cooler soil. And two, you're not going to stress out your grass as much because it is mowed taller, so you have a lot longer leaf blades, and so it can retain those nutrients and that moisture in there, so it's going to be a little bit more drought resistant. So we're kind of in a debate right now. I believe there was a 6-pack of beer on the line. So I'm going to continue to mow at 4 inches. He's going to continue to scalp his at 2.5, 3, whatever he does. And we're going into another week of 90s with very little rain. So we'll see what both of our grass looks like here in probably a week, week and a half when I come back from vacation. Pete from GCI Turf has pretty much already done this test, but I want to make my neighbor a believer because he keeps being told by everyone else, mow it tall, says no, and his whole reasoning that is a little flawed. So we'll give it a week, and he'll see, and then I might also shoot him Pete Denny's video on comparing the 4-inch to the 3-inch in his yard, and then bringing it back with all the water he's been doing. So that's actually a really cool video. I might even just send it to him now, just say, hey, just so you know, and maybe it might turn him around. Otherwise, he might just have to see it for himself that my yard is a lot greener and thriving a little bit better in this heat than what his yard is. So we'll see. Alright, so I had to take a quick break from mowing outside. Like I said, it's about 92 degrees out, and I've already had to take, I believe this is my 3rd break I've had to take. I didn't even get maybe half to 3/4 of the yard mowed. Started just getting agitated in general just from being hot. Almost yelled at a tree. I mean, I think at that point it's time to come inside for a while. So, inside, and I started thinking about, so I was talking about the Prosedge that I use to kill off the nutsedge around various areas of my yard. A neighbor came to my house to drop some things off, and he was talking that he used T-Zone to treat the nutsedge and various broadleaf weeds that he has in his yard. So I looked it up, and it was roughly about $100 for a gallon of T-Zone. That's pretty pricey, especially if you have a major weed issue in your yard and you need to go through a lot of spray. $100 is going to be, getting thrown out there pretty quick. So looking at, though, it looks like you could probably make your own. So what I put down was the Prosedge, and the main ingredient in that is halciferon methyl. So that predominantly just treats your nutsedge, your yellow and purple, as well as the kalinga. There are a few other odds and ends that it will treat, like around roadsides, like wild sunflowers, stuff like that. So I don't think most people have to worry about that. So the halciferon methyl is specifically for the nutsedge. And if that's the only issue you have in your yard is nutsedge, then you could buy a small box for, I got mine for like $7.50. It made 1 gallon. You can hit your whole yard for that $7 and be done. But if you have a lot of other weeds that are in the yard, another thing you can do without spending the $100 on the T-Zone is to get something like Dismiss. And that one will kill the nutsedge, but it also will kill a lot of the other things in your yard, your clover, your dandelions, your ground ivies, chickweeds, oxalis. It'll even kill some of the spurge. But the Dismiss is quite a bit more expensive, at least on your one-time buy. You can get a 6-ounce bottle on Do My Own for, it's about $60 right now. I think it's on sale for $57, I believe. But it's a 6-ounce bottle. I believe it calls for, a 1/2 ounce per gallon, and 1 gallon will give you 1,000 square foot. So roughly you would get 12,000 square foot of coverage out of that for $60. So that's a little more pricey. So that's starting to get into that part where doing this blanket spray is going to get kind of pricey. But then you also have another chemical in the T-Zone that is triclopyr, and that you can get. High Yield makes a triclopyr ether that you can put in, and that was, I believe, like $25 or $30, and that'll also kill the clover, your dandelion, ground ivy, wild violet, your oxalis. But the triclopyr, if you are going to do that specifically, that is for a cool season only, or at least a perennial rye and your tall fescue. I don't even believe the label mentioned Kentucky Blue, but I would think it would be okay with that. Don't quote me on that. But I think for the most part, the cool season, it would be triclopyr only. So the last thing that's in the T-zone is a 2,4-D dicamba, which is pretty much readily available in any basic weed killer concentrate, so your Ortho Weed Begons, the Ortho CCO, whatever. I typically use a chemical that's vendor is Green Light, I believe. It's called Wipeout, but that's your 2,4-D. I think it has dicamba, and it has a little shot of quinclorac in it as well, which is something that the T-zone doesn't have. And whether or not that quinclorac mixing with your triclopyr, your sulfentrazone, I don't think that would cause an issue. So in that case, it might even kill a little bit of crabgrass, like very, very early stages, because it'd be a limited amount of quinclorac. But so if need be, you could combine your sulfentrazone, your triclopyr. You can throw in some 2,4-D dicamba from another concentrated weed killer and combine that together, and you would have your T-zone. And I think it would actually be a lot cheaper than that $100 for the 1 gallon. So if you are after various weeds throughout the yard and want to do a massive amount and not spend the $100 on a gallon of T-zone, that might be a good way to go. It's just kind of mix your own, and might be a little bit cheaper. But again, if the only thing you're fighting is Nutsedge, then the something like Prosedge or Sedge Hammer that has a housefuron methyl would be a good choice. So I just want to throw that out there. So I'm going to try to get cooled off here, get another drink of water, and I'm going to try to get back up there and try to finish out the yard. So one thing I had to share real quick while I was mowing on the side yard. So I have a neighbor I don't talk to a whole lot, but Grass My, I don't talk to them a whole lot, but as you sit back, you kind of watch some of the neighbors, you kind of see what they do. And so over the past few years, I've gone through different lawn services. I had one of the big box ones. I had a local company doing it. I did my own for a while, went back to the lawn companies, and then finally started doing it myself. But I noticed as time went on, I would watch some of these other companies, and it would be the same companies that would show up at the neighbor's house that was over at my house. So when I had True Green started showing up. When I started doing my own, True Green went away. When the local companies showed up, they started using the same local company. So I kept watching a little bit more, and so he started following my schedule as well. When I would water, usually within a day or two, he would water. I made my own lawn striper for my riding mower, and within about a month or two, he had the big lawn roller that you fill up with water that you pull behind. So he had that. It's like, all right. So he's definitely trying to mimic what I'm doing. I don't know if it's just he is appreciative of what my yard is looking like, or is he trying to compete? I don't know. Nice enough guy. I don't talk to him a whole lot. But so I kept watching it, and so as I went to mow the side yard today, I was looking at his mower stripes, the way he mowed. So looks like he went diagonal toward me. Now, as some of you know, when you point your lines towards someone, them's fighting words. So naturally, I had to answer back. How's them stripes for you? So, I guess from now on I know where I'm going to start pointing my stripes. Mwahaha.